Sensational Saturday, everyone. Welcome once again to another exciting edition of the D Word. This is Pearly Almonte, your host, and this is brought to you by the Divorce Dynasty. My co host, Carolina Denhard, is helping a client right now, so she may or may not be able to join us, but either way, we are going to provide extremely great value to you in helping you go through your divorce or through your sale or maybe renting your home, whatever it may be. This has got to do with title insurance. And quite frankly, you want to avoid nightmares that people will be going after your property because it's not clean. It's not a clean title. So, and also during divorces, you will soon find out that there is a lot of nightmares that we can all go through if it was not done properly. And so today we have invited the title queen, Erika Baldino, who is the Vice President of Business Development of New Jersey for Kensington Vanguard National Land Services. Welcome, welcome.
Thank
How are you?
you. Very nice to be here.
Oh my goodness. People need you right now. The real estate is crazy, right? And obviously, I'm sure you're very, very busy right now. But today, we'd like for you to share with our audience the different things that they need to know about being able to obtain a clean title for their property that they're buying, and also most especially what you wanted to discuss right now is for people who are going through divorce and maybe one spouse will end up with a property, and how do we handle that, how do we prevent any future conflict. But first of all, how is your weekend going so far?
It's going fabulous. Yes, it's been a busy week. Real estate market is insane. So Saturdays are my time to decompress. I'm going for a hike later, just chilling out. Went to the gym this morning. We're doing this. So great weekend so far.
That's good. I love that you keep it balanced. You have a crazy week and you need to be able to self-care,
Yes.
and I love that you're doing that. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, okay. Let me take you back on your busy week. Okay, what are you seeing right now in the real estate market?
Okay, so the real estate market in New Jersey, I'm national, I do 50 states, but I'll talk about New Jersey specifically. It's a seller's market. You put a house on and it's gone the following minute, it feels like. So I'm busy with purchase business as well as refinance business because rates are so low. So with the refinance business comes a lot of spouses that are deeding a spouse off after a divorce. They're in the process of getting divorced, almost divorced. They're putting together a marital separation agreement. So believe it or not, I actually come in very handy at this point.
Hmm.
Um,
I have a
there
question.
are
First of all, you had mentioned about refinancing, right? Do people have to still go for another title insurance or title search, even if they're going just for refinancing?
Yes. So you get an owner's policy when you purchase a house and a lender's policy to protect that lender. But when you refinance, even if it's the same lender, they want a new lender's policy to protect their position in the home as first mortgage. So I stay busy with refinances as well. And we also go to people's houses and close them. Um, and again, a lot of times a refinance, it could just be simply for to get a better rate, but sometimes the purpose is to deed an ex-spouse off. And the
Before
issue,
you go there, hold on a
Mhm.
second, my darling, because there might be some people who are new in buying homes. Okay,
Right.
who do not know what the role is of a title insurance or a title search. Can you just, in the simplest way, explain what your role is in the purchase of a home?
Sure. So I tell people that title insurance is the only insurance that insures the past and not the future. Okay. So you'll get car insurance in case you get in a car crash. You'll get phone insurance in case you drop your phone. You get title insurance if something happened 50 years ago that no one knows about. If there was a fraudulent deed put on record, if there were judgments that weren't found, if there's an open mortgage, if there was a house that was willed to somebody by their grandmother, you don't want any of that stuff in the past to affect your ownership today. So it's our job to go back in time and bind insurance that says your ownership is okay. You can now take title of this property free and clear.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
clean and clear title is what.
Free and clear. Yes,
Yes,
those are the
yes.
magic
You're
words.
Yeah, sounds like a what's that?
Like a
Like
skincare brand. Yeah, I'm also a skincare brand.
yeah.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying like thank you for much so very much for explaining that, because a lot of people do not understand. Like this is not one of those moments that you want to take a shortcut, because this will come back to haunt you.
Yes.
Imagine yourself getting so excited. Oh, I got a property, I own one, and then suddenly going forward, somebody puts a claim on your property that you thought you own, right?
Right.
And so what the title insurance does is they dig into the past to make sure that you don't have any worries going forward in terms of your ownership. That's amazing. Well, you have talked about the divorce proceeding right now, right? And you have shared with me nightmares that divorcing couples may go through because of titles. So, and I believe that you can best explain this through different scenarios, right? So,
Right.
go ahead, please.
So, most of the time when there's real property involved, meaning the couples are not renters, they own an asset, whether it's a marital home or multiple assets, they could have shore properties and investment properties. The marital separation agreement is going to clearly say what's happening with that property. It's going to say that the wife must refinance and the husband must leave, or it's going to say the husband must refinance and the wife must leave, or they're going to sell. What I try to tell people is attorneys are like doctors, right? So a divorce attorney understands divorce law. They don't understand trust law. They don't understand accident law. They don't understand real estate law. Just the same, you wouldn't go to a heart surgeon to get foot surgery, right? You don't really go to a divorce attorney to transfer property. However, during the marital separation agreement, they are involved in these negotiations. So
And
sometimes what happens,
Carolina Denhard is a big, like divorce attorney. She does
right?
family law as well. So that's why she's in very good partnership with a title insurance person like you, expert, as a matter of fact, a title queen.
Right. You don't, I've been saying this saying the whole week. You don't know what you don't know. So there are things that Carolina may not know about real property and property transfer, but she has access to me at a click of a button, and I'm able to help her clients. And I think that's really just the main purpose of Divorce Dynasty is she's not in this box. She knows so many people that are able to help divorcing couples because it is complicated and it does span a very big width of law, and it does go into property transfer. So, unfortunately, some attorneys do not have that access. And what I see them doing is they put together a very quick marital separation agreement. They put, okay, wife, you get the house completely. Let's say, for example, it's $1 million house. There's $500,000 in equity. There's a $500,000 mortgage. Okay, wife, you get the house. The husband's just going to walk away free and clear. He doesn't have to pay you any money because there's equity, and he's going to go about his way. The issue is these attorneys never pre qualify the wife. Can she carry that debt? Is she able to make mortgage payments? You need to make about $7,000 a month in order to carry a $500,000 debt a month for, I'm sorry, $500,000 loan. So they don't pre qualify them. All of a sudden, the marital separation agreement is signed, the final judgment goes, and the ex husband's like, okay, I want to go on my merry way. I want to buy a house for myself. He can't because he still co-signed this mortgage. So he still shows that debt on his report. So he
Wow.
cannot just go and buy. So what needs to happen is that
Mm.
this woman needs to refinance the mortgage to take him off of it, which means she needs to qualify by herself. I hear horror stories where they cannot qualify. She does not have another co-signer. He has to stay on a mortgage, which is now limiting him from moving forward. I just did one. The poor girl bought $150,000 condo, and she said, I wish I could have my husband co-sign so we could buy something bigger. But he co-signed his ex-wife's house long ago, and no one ever figured out if she could carry the debt, and now he still owns it, basically. So
Oh my
even
goodness. That is a
even
that is a great example, because people think that after divorce,
right,
okay,
we're
you can have
done.
the house, that now you feel like, oh, you can go about your merry way. But
Right,
who so when you co-sign that mortgage, basically you're stuck to it unless the other person basically creates a whole new loan, taking it
correct.
out of the title.
Correct. And what
Oh,
amateur divorce attorneys that don't know any better is they will just file a dollar deed. Okay, we took it out of the husband's name, it's fine. It's not fine. That deed does not really hold any weight. And the fact of the matter is the debt is still stuck to that person, to that man that left. So they can't move on with their life.
Erika,
Another
who hires you? Who hires you
um,
during this process?
so here's the thing. When you're doing this negotiation, a good real estate attorney like Carolina will say to their opponent or their person that's getting the house, you need to start the refinance process now. And when they start that process, then I'm hired. Another reason that I'm hired is because, and why you should start the refinance process before the final judgment and before the marital separation agreement is because sometimes there's judgments on the spouse. So let's use the same example where this man walked away from his $1 million house and he had 500,000 in equity and he had 500,000 in debt. Let's say they never ran judgments against that name. Maybe he had a gambling habit. Maybe there was a $200,000 lien on the property from a casino. Maybe he stiffed a roofing contractor she didn't know about for $50,000. Maybe he has a child she didn't know about and has a child support judgment on the property. All of a sudden, she goes to refinance that debt. They file the marital separation agreement. They file the final judgment. He's on his merry way in the Grand Cayman, and she comes to realize that there is no equity in that house because there's $500,000 worth of judgments that
You
she
know what?
needs to
I
pay
would
off.
never have thought, just me speaking on behalf of people out there, that all of the things that you just enumerated to us, like say for example, gambling, debts, any other debts that are outstanding, actually come into play in giving you a clean and clear title. So just
Yes.
because you think that you own this house, you cannot forget that your other creditors who may have a lien on your property.
Correct. And it's not just the men. I'll attack the women too. They go to leave and the husband thinks they're inheriting it with no judgments and there's plastic surgery bills and I mean, listen, it happens to the child support even. I mean, it happens to everybody and these judgments attached to the property, they're filed against the property, not the person. So, if you don't start this during your divorce process, you may continue to be in for surprises well after you're divorced. And that's just not a good feeling for anybody.
My goodness. You know what? I have a whole new way of looking at you. I have a new level of
I
respect.
know. I have a lot of friends. They see that I'm involved in Divorce Dynasty and they're just like, I don't understand. You're not married, you're not divorced, and we don't understand how you help divorcing couples. It's very complicated. You know what? I just got a phone call. This is a very sad story. I just got a phone call the beginning of this week from a woman that said, hey, somebody said I need you to help me put a deed on record. The property is still owned by me and my ex-husband, and my ex-husband just passed away. That is not good. I said to her, why didn't you just take care of this as soon as the separation agreement was the final judgment? Oh, we had a mediator do it. It was amicable. Don't worry about it. I said, well, now the property is owned 50% by you and 50% by your husband's estate. You never did anything with that deed. I said, so his 50% may go to the next of kin, depending. She goes, what do you mean his sisters, his brother? I said, yes, they can come after 50% of that house now because you never filed the deed correctly. She said, how come nobody told me this when I was getting divorced? I said, I have no idea. Just because they signed the final judgment doesn't mean that the transfer is complete. You still need to take it all the way forward to refinance and put a new deed on record. I said, sure, if his estate came after the house, you're going to have a piece of paper that says, no, 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 when he was alive, this was his intentions, but now you have to fight about it. Whereas if you hired the right professionals, this all would have been done. She would have been able to move on. And now she's stuck with an estate issue with an ex husband that just passed away.
I love how you humanize title insurance because, until I spoke with you today, my idea, I'm actually a referring agent for real estate, and I'm also a life insurance expert in living benefits. And I could not think of, like, oh my goodness, these are, first of all, we need to partner up, because there are so many different ways that we can change lives. First of all, when you were talking about, like, wow, when I said humanize, I never imagined all the other factors, all the other emotional baggage that are going through people's lives,
Right.
actually carry through. And it's very challenging when somebody like that passes on, right? And now, because the ex-wife does not have any clean claim to the title, so
Right.
now it's also very frustrating, because you're going, how come nobody talked to me about it?
Right.
How
I
come the
hate that
divorce
when they
attorney
say,
did not?
why didn't anybody tell me? It's really a simple answer. They were with the wrong professionals, unfortunately. And she was so upset because she said, Erica, this was my house before we got married. She said, I bought this house. And then she refinanced, I guess, years later and added him to the deed. And then things went south. But it was always her house. And I said, well, you have 50% of your house that is in jeopardy of now your ex husband's estate. You need to get on this now. I had to, and she was like, thank you so much. I never would have known. And then she was kind of like, well, why can't I just send a deed in now that he's passed away? I said, who's going to sign it? Well, my son will sign it. They have the same name. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to send in a death certificate. They're going to know, you can't skirt the law like that. It has to be done correctly.
Who is the next of kin when they, say for example, they have children together and then they're divorced? Is the next of kin the siblings of the person
So,
that died, or the children?
so the next of kin, as long as it's what we call Class A beneficiary, should be his son. However, if he had a will and they probated the will and they found very strict language in there that said, my other 50% of this property goes to Erika Baldino, then I would have a claim on 50% of her property. And she's going to say, who are you? You don't know what his wishes of the will was. And then she would have to go into litigation. She would say, no, I had a final judgment of divorce. I didn't refi. I didn't file a deed. I was made unaware. That person really doesn't have any claim. That will was mistaken. But that's time, that's money, that's drama, that's wear and tear on your soul. Nobody wants to relive a divorce. She's been divorced for 10 years. Nobody wants to relive a divorce and take care of a son that just lost his father.
Yep.
It's too much. And if it was done properly the first time, they would have no issues.
Erica, you look so young. I'm looking at you, but you're so wise, and you speak with so much authority, and I love it.
Thank you.
Here at the Divorce Dynasty, we are a group of vetted professionals in many different industries. Title. We also have different attorneys in different fields, like there is a family law, there's divorce, there's international law, there's immigration. Now, I want to talk about that as well. Say, for example, the person who owns the property is actually an immigrant, or say for example, what about somebody who's undocumented? Would they have claim to the property here in the United States?
Yes. Anybody can buy property in America. Anybody. You do not have to be a citizen. I have a gentleman from Taiwan buying a $600,000 house with me next week, cash.
Wow.
The issue is selling that property, because if you are from Taiwan and you sell, the state, our country wants a hefty bit of money. So there's what's called a FERPTA withholding, and it's about 40% of the profit. Okay. So let's just say, for example, that this woman's husband is a foreign national and is not a United States citizen. And she thought that everything was okay. And she went to go list this condo tomorrow. That $100,000 profit that she had, 50 of it is hers, 50 of it is her husband's, and 50% of that, well, 40% of that 50 would have to go for taxes, which would have never been a taxable event had they just done a dollar deed when they first divorced.
Oh,
But
wow.
there is hefty taxes. So non-citizens can buy property and it's fine and all is good. But when you go to sell property, like I said, there's a 40% tax on that.
Oh my goodness. Actually, like, I'm also thinking about all the accountants at the Divorce Dynasty, because I am seeing all the different interwebbing
Yes.
connections, that because all of
Yes.
this, like Look at you.
And
You have this wealth of knowledge, from the taxation point of view, from the ownership point of view, from the divorce point of view. There's like, basically, I love that you are quite holistic. You
yes,
are,
and I always reiterate, I'm not an attorney. I can't give legal advice. I'm not a CPA. I can't give tax advice. But a lot of what I do hedges on both of those industries. So I kind of have to be knowledgeable about how deals are put together and how ownership structures change and how people are taxed. And the FERPTA withholding is a very big issue. And I actually have specialists that will do the FERPTA withholding for that seller, but it is a pain in the butt because you have to basically send 40% in to the federal government and file a bunch of paperwork and hope to God they give you some money back. But maybe they don't.
now what happens now? There's also a lot of foreclosure people who flip and all that, right? Now, how does the title search come into play for those flippers?
Okay, so I am very important for my flippers, and my flippers rely on me more than I can count. When a property is foreclosed on, there is something that's called a foreclosure judgment that's entered in the county. And we have to do what's called a chancery search, which it's only done in Trenton in person. And you have to pull the chain of foreclosures, right? Because sometimes these flip properties have had 4, 5, 6 people foreclosed in the chain of title in the last 60 years. So we need to make sure we pull the chancery, we open the foreclosure proceedings, we read them to make sure that everything was foreclosed on properly. Because sometimes they name the mortgage, but they don't name the gambling debt. They don't name the child support judgment. They don't name the plastic surgery judgment. They don't name the roofing contractor's judgment. So all of a sudden, if a flipper doesn't have me and they go to sell and they have a good title company for the buyer, oh, there's a $20,000 child support judgment from the prior foreclosed owner. Yeah, it was foreclosed on it. Don't worry about it. It was not foreclosed on properly. And now the flipper has to pay that judgment. And sometimes 20 grand is their profit. It'll kill a flip. And I've seen it before.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's true. And flips don't happen overnight, So there's also expenses involved in, what they call the holding expense to be able, as they go into the flip. And so just like what you said, like now you took on another financial responsibility and not any make money out of that deal. So really, like you're great. One of the things that I was also thinking about listening to you when you talk about the people whose spouses, say for example, die. By the way, here in the divorce dynasty, I am actually the life insurance agent provider, and also I focus on living benefits. So, say for example, I was thinking of, say for example, that type of person that you said that the wife may not be able to carry a mortgage, right? Like if the husband passes. But the whole point is that if they have life insurance with living benefits, the kind of insurance actually you don't have to die to use. Whether the one of the spouses become disabled or
Right.
dies, they will be able to collect money, but you don't have to die to get it.
So
And
it's funny that you bring that up because I do a lot of closings, especially for first time home buyers. So part of what title insurance does is we do escrow work. So I sit with the first time home buyers, and when we're done, they go, "Is there anything else I need to know?" And I say, "Yes. You've just co-signed your debt with a spouse. And the only way you qualified for 500,000 is because you make 70 grand and your husband makes 70 grand. But God forbid one of you goes, you can't carry this $3,000 mortgage payment a month, can you?" "No, I don't know." "Well, then you should have a life insurance policy that at least matches the debt that is on your house. So if you're $500,000 in debt, you should at least have 500. That'll help you with the house, plus funeral expenses, plus. But at least get a policy for 500,000 because you don't know what could happen tomorrow."
oh, absolutely. I love that you are very, very proactive in providing additional value to your clients. I can already tell that what makes you different and what sets you apart as a title queen. Because, when we talk about, insurance, for instance, what I'm very passionate about what I do is that I say, whether you're alive or dead, if you get into a medical catastrophe, you don't ever want to lose your home to foreclosure because you could
Right.
will pay for the mortgage, or basically continue living because you have no
Right.
income coming. And I love the fact that you are thinking proactively for your clients to be able to protect them and give them the peace of mind. How beautiful is that? I salute you for being
Thank you.
so, I love that you are very, very caring. So my next question to you actually was going to be, what sets you apart from everyone else out there? And just through this interview, I have seen so many different shades of Erica Baldino, and
Thank you.
and what sets you apart from everyone else that I have spoken to, because as a real estate even referral agent myself, right? I've spoken to a few title people, but the only thing that I know is that they do title search. That's it. But with you, my goodness, I have learned so much. And that's why I said, like, you put a heart and soul to title search, and title insurance, because this will give them a lot more than just, okay, a piece of paper that say, oh, you're free and clear. It actually gives them the peace of mind knowing that they don't have to worry about so many other things, because the past, all the, how do you call, like, the dirty closet, the
Yes.
skeletons have
Yes. The
already been,
skeletons in the closet.
right, like everything has been basically unearthed. And so that going forward, you can breathe a lot better. If they would like to talk to you, say if they're going through a divorce attorney, other divorce attorneys out there, or maybe realtors, um you know um in, how do you call that, mortgage providers who would like to partner with you, how do they reach you? How do they contact you? Because you are definitely a great partner to, for any type of business in that arena.
So my tech savvy friends can go below. It says at Erika Baldino. So that's my Instagram handle. So feel free to find me on Instagram, DM me, and my email address is actually in my Instagram. If you are not tech savvy, my email address is E for Erica, last name Baldino, at K for kite, V for Victor, national.com. So
Yeah,
I
and
look forward
we're
to
going
hearing
to just
from you.
also put that in the chat as well. And
Yep.
there are still a lot of people who are more seasoned in age like me who prefer to make a phone call. So is
Sure.
there, yeah, what's your phone?
Sure. So my South Jersey roots are showing. My cell phone number is 609-706-2331.
Yeah, I'm actually, by the way, I'm here in Ocean County.
Okay, so I'm from Camden County. Keep going. I'm way south. I'm by Philly.
Yeah,
I
and I'd love to be able to connect with you, because I could just imagine us being able to change lives and provide a lot of value. As I've said here at the Divorce Dynasty, different industries, as you go through your old life, being married to to one that is no longer serving you, and you're ready to face your brand new beginnings, we have people to help you in your transition. So connect with us and check out the Divorce Dynasty. And if you're contemplating on divorce, going through divorce, Carolina Denhard, who is the founder of Divorce Dynasty, will be able to connect you with all the vetted professionals out there, including Erica Baldino, who will be able to give you, a lot of advice, just like what you said. She's not a CPA, she's not an attorney, but she can give you some suggestions so you can then reach the right professional who can best support your needs. All right. So is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So give us three tips on how to, if you are in a marriage right now, and or you own a property, can you give us three tips on what to check on occasion, or say, for example, to make sure that we continue to have that peace of mind and not have to hover over a thought that, is my title free and clear?
Sure. So if you own a property with a spouse and you know you're going to head toward the way of divorce, or you are divorcing, remind your attorney to do a judgment search on your now ex. Um, if there is different property involved and you're either deeding yourself off on the property or deeding yourself on, remember to ask your attorney that you need to sign that deed, because sometimes they forget. And just remember to have that other ex-spouse pre-qualify for the mortgage before you sign anything, to make sure that they can carry that debt.
That's so beautiful. And any last words, just a piece of advice in terms of being, like, as we're going through the divorce proceeding, and you are, you're nervous, you have a lot of questions in your mind and you're confused. What, any words of wisdom you'd like to share?
So I will share with you my mantra that keeps me going every day. That is my own quote, which is, it doesn't pay to be smart, it pays to make smart decisions.
Ooh,
So while you are in that decision process, the only way to make smart decisions is to surround yourself with people that been there, done that, and understand it. So just keep asking questions and be your own advocate.
I love that. I told you you're very, very wise. The whole point is that if you surround yourself with people who are smarter than you know that you don't make, like if you second guess yourself, you want to check out with people who are experts in their field so you don't make the wrong decisions, because it's harder to correct it once the mistake is done, right? So you want to be proactive in being able to handle your affairs, right? So
Correct.
that's beautiful. So thank you so much, Erica Baldino, the title queen, for your words of wisdom, for your advice, and for enlightening us with so many other aspects of title insurance that we have never heard before. So if you are interested in learning more and connecting with Erica, the best way to follow her is on Instagram. Her social media handler is at Erica Baldino. All right. So thank you so very much again. Until next time, this is Furley Almonte, your host on behalf of Carolina Denhard, my co-host. She's a divorce attorney, international law attorney, and family law attorney. And please check out the Divorce Dynasty page as well, because you will be able to connect with all the other amazing professionals in many different industries. Until next time, stay well, enjoy the summer, and stay well and healthy. Take care now. Bye bye. Thank you, Erica.
Bye.